All right, shall we just get going?
Maybe just general, because you're the first team, so we just started the broadcast also for those who might be watching. I guess welcome from our side, from Gnosis. We're excited to have all the teams here presenting. Yeah, looking very much forward to the first pitch, I guess.
Yeah, we will start with InstantDX, and they want to build an application on top of the Dutch X, and they will provide an instant payout option for sellers. So if you want, you can start now.
Cool. And let me just share my screen real quick. Alrighty. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cool. All right. So first of all, thanks for having us. My name is Hilmar, and here with me is my colleague Luis.
Hello, everyone. Hello again.
And we've been working on a project called InstantDX, and InstantDX aims to provide an instant payout option to sellers of the Dutch exchange. And before we jump into the semantics of the whole system, quick introduction. Have been working together for quite some time right now. I'm a software developer with a finance background. I graduated a couple of years back in London. I'm currently actually sitting here in Frankfurt Airport on my way to East Cape Town. I have to postpone my flight to make this call, and I'm just kind of like going from hackathon to hackathon at the moment. And before I was working in InstantDX, I co-founded a startup called Deep, which was based in Berlin, building decentralized applications for the energy sector. And my colleague Luis, also a developer with a Python background, who studied political economy at King's College London, with a focus on game theory. He's probably somewhere in the Bavarian countryside right now, and he co-founded and led a blockchain startup called Configure Contract Solutions, which is also based in Berlin. Some projects of ours you might have heard of is, first of all, IPF Swap, which is a fully decentralized exchange platform for ERC20 tokens built on IPFS and network liquidity, and then an interest rate swap application called Collateralize, which enables users to refinance their MakerDAO's DDPs with other credit loan providers such as ePlent. And it actually won one of the sponsorship prizes at ETH Paris. But let us just dive into what we are building. So we think the Dutch X is awesome. As you know, it solves a lot of problems associated with centralized exchanges, with non-custodial exchanges. The most important one being miner front running and being able to handle large orders. But there's one significant issue, that is that it doesn't provide instant payouts if you compare it to the other two. And if we go a bit deeper into the problem, if you are a seller and you want to sell, let's say 1,000 ETH on the Dutch X, you actually deposit the money, and then you have to wait 6 to 12 hours, maybe a bit longer, maybe a bit shorter, for the current auction to finish, and then for the next one to start, where you deposit your funds out of the auction. And we propose a solution called InstantDX, which, if you deposit your funds to the InstantDX contracts, you immediately receive 80% of the expected auction receivable in an instant transaction. And then you have to wait for the next auction to start and then to finish. And then at the end of the normal Dutch X process, you will receive the remaining 20% of what you are expected to get. And we would probably just show you how it works. We built a small demo for you, which uses the slow.trade interface hosted on Ringbee. And let's just imagine we want to sell 1 Ether for OmiseGo tokens, yeah? And we will use wrapped Ether, so we avoid the extra step of wrapping our ETH. This is our wallet. We have some Ether in there to pay for transaction fees. We got 1 WETH, and we got 0 OMG. We can also check that on Etherscan real quick. And this is just a demo, but you have to imagine this will be like 1,000 wrapped ETH, or like a higher amount, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's go to specify amount, and let's select 1 WETH to sell. And this is basically where the interface starts to look different. Now you will have 2 different options. You can choose the regular Dutch X process, where it takes roughly 6 hours, maybe a bit longer, to receive the receivables from the auction, or you can choose the InstantDX option, which will pay out 80% of the exact payout instantaneously, which roughly accounts for 80 OMG based on an exchange rate of 1 ETH for 100 OMG. So obviously we take that option here, and we have to approve the wrapped ETH contract first. So the contract is allowed to transfer the ETH out of our wallet. And now we see the order confirmation. It says that you will receive an instant payout of 80 OMG based on the last auction price of 100.03 OMG. And of course, yeah, we confirm that. And now we just have to wait until the order for the transaction to be mined, which should be done real quick. Yes, and you see that the first payout is complete. And it says that the remaining OMG will be transferred in approximately 11 hours and 15 minutes. So this is the time it takes for the current auction to finish, and then for the next one to start and finish. And if we check on our MetaMask, we pay some transaction fees. And here we see we have 80 OMG instantaneously, which we can do whatever we want with it. We can sell it again, or we can lend it out or whatever. And you see the transaction here on Etherscan as well. And then now we fast forward kind of to don't lose time. Now the auction has started, and now it takes roughly 6 hours. It notifies us, and now we simulate that the auction already finished, and the second payout was complete, and the remaining 19.9 OMG have been transferred to our wallet, and it's 19.9 and not 20 OMG. As you might notice, the exit takes a 0.1% transaction fee as of now to finance all of that. And if we go to the wallet, we should see that we have indeed 19.9 OMG there. And my colleague Luis will take over now and show you how the system works actually behind the scenes.
Yes, so can you hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so the InstantDX behind the scenes basically is a liquidity pool in form of a smart contract. And it is permissionless, so anyone can contribute to this pool. And in the case that we show here, say we have 4 liquidity providers, each providing 25K DAI each to the pool, which leads the pool to have 100K DAI in its balance. And we still have the Dutch X, of course, and the seller. And in this case, the seller wants to sell, for example, 1K ETH on the Dutch X. However, the seller, she wants to have an instant payout for whatever reason. And through the InstantDX, she can get the 80% instant payout immediately. And then the InstantDX goes on to have 20K DAI in the balance, of course. And the InstantDX places the sell order on her behalf on the Dutch X and waits for the auction process to finish, for price discovery to happen. And in this case, the price has settled on 1 ETH is 100 DAI. So you get 100K DAI back to the pool, leaving the pool with 120K DAI balance, from which the pool can now instantly process the second payout to the seller. In this case, is with a small interest fee that remains in the pool in order to yes, incentivize liquidity providers to gain, yeah, to have an incentive here. And then the pool has 100.1K DAI left, and the liquidity and the seller now has 99.9K DAI in their wallet. So I think let's talk about the benefits here. Why you should fund this project and why you should fund us. Clearly, the Dutch X is an awesome project. It is the first truly decentralized exchange without the front-running problems, and also without the problem of large market orders. However, the 6 hours wait time or even longer is a big trade-off. I think that's undoubtedly a big trade-off. And what we can bring is this instant option for a broad range of users. Really what we want to do with this is just increase the adoption of the Dutch X. For example, a big use case would be in the broader ecosystem for maker CDPs, for maker users who in times of high price volatility might want to wipe their debt and trade into large amounts of tokens, but are really time constrained here. So there, I think the InstantDX would really benefit the Dutch X on top of it. Also, in general, for maker users to add more collateral to their positions in times of price to avoid being liquidated. I guess in general, you can think about all sorts of financial risk management cases where people just need instant liquidity, but still want to make use of the great pricing mechanism that the Dutch X provides. And also, we bring in more people into the ecosystem that want to earn an interest on the idle assets by becoming liquidity providers in our pool. We actually already have a first version on GitHub as well, and it's quite early still, but yeah, we're pushing a lot of code there at the moment, and we have planned to release like a gamification version on Ringbeat for the InstantDX very soon, so we keep you posted on that. And last but not least, why we really want this grant is that we really want to dedicate all of our time to it. So we don't only want to work part-time on this project, we actually want to work full-time on it. And yeah, for that, the grant is definitely needed. So thank you very much for listening today. And yeah, I guess it's time for some questions. Let me go back onto the camera here. So
yeah, thanks a lot.
Good.
Yeah, I would have some. I think generally the idea is interesting to try to combine in one interface options to sell immediately or sell via the Dutch auction. Not sure yet if splitting the liquidity to the ratio of 80-20 makes a lot of sense. Think about that. But what kind of liquidity providers did you look into? Like, which providers would you like to add first to this?
So it can be, in theory, it can be a wide range of different users that can be liquidity providers, right? So there are of course those ones that provide liquidity at the moment to let's say Compound or other platforms, and that basically just want to earn some assets, some interest on their idle assets. But preferably, of course, there are a lot of like token teams that already have their tokens sitting around, or investors in their tokens, like Polychain Capital, for example, that have a lot of tokens that could contribute there. And I think because we have some risk, like still with such a system, but because of that risk, I think we can offer a significant higher interest as well to the people that deposit the money into the liquidity pool, compared, for example, to market lending mechanisms like Compound, or for example, Nu or something like that.
How would this interest be calculated? Like there is 0.1 interest for the users and also for the people that belong to the pool.
Do you mean from the technical, also in the smart contracts now, or you mean the figure itself?
Yeah, if it's like a formula in the smart contract, I don't know, it's like it's depending on every token. I don't know if you can explain a little bit how this percentage is got. Yeah,
so basically there are two values I think that we need to calculate on a token pair trading basis. One of that is the interest fee that liquidity providers get for providing their liquidity to the pool. I guess here the specifics are not that clear yet. I mean, we still need to think about exact numbers here. But the more interesting part is probably also the loan to value ratio. So that's basically the 80% that Stefan was talking about. That's basically, that depends on the risk, on the price risk we see on the market. Basically, the 20% is a hedge for us against very weird auctions where maybe the price drops by 20% or something. So that's a 20% hedge here on our side. But yeah, the loan to value ratio, that will be dependent on how risky we perceive the token pair to be. I mean, you can go on and think about a DAO here as well, people setting these ratios instead of us setting them. Or the pool manager setting them, but yeah, I guess this will be up for decision at a later stage. It's a bit early to all exact figures here.
And to add to that, it will be, so we think it should be done, or it needs to be done on a case-by-case basis, depending on the token pair at the beginning.
What's rational, or what would you say are the arguments for the 80% or higher or lower value?
So what we are initially thinking about is we are looking at the historic volatility of, let's say, a floating pair of ETH DAI or something, let's say the last 60, 90 days. We calculate the average volatility there, and then we can assume, or like we need to assume that, let's say, DAI or ETH doesn't drop below 20% within a time frame of 12 hours compared to DAI. Of course, this might still happen because the history never predicts the future.
Sure.
But we have some, I think, some safety implement in order to rescue the pool in such an event that the price drops below 20%. And if you would like, we can also quickly talk about those.
No, that totally makes sense.
I think we're out of time now, and the next team should join soon. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice demo, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're already done, right? So no grant needed. You have to do it here. Okay. Cool.
They should be joining in a second. They still had the old invite link, even though I sent the new one.
We had not needed.
Cool. Yeah, we could do a round of quick introductions as we wait for them.
Yeah, let's shortly do that.
So maybe let's start with Richard, because you're on the way.
Cool. So I'm Richard. I'm working on the Gnosis safe, and so I'm responsible for most of the tech stuff. I wrote the Android app, most of the parts, and took over the smart contract development from Stefan. That's where I'm mainly responsible now.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Stefan. I'm CTO of Gnosis, and yeah, kind of do all kind of things.
Yeah, Maren, I'm responsible for the GECO and probably work with most of you already.
Yeah, I'm Martin. I'm for Gnosis system.
I'm Federica, I'm the COO, and I also do a lot of things.
I'm Lauren, and I do marketing and communications for Gnosis. Well, and I'm Kira. I work on comm strategy at Gnosis and do some other things.
Lots of things. We do.
My bios for everyone.
We have also remotely, we have, Anshu's not there.
Anshu was only here for the projects and he's done.
Jetzt sind wir hier.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Hello.
There's some echo here.
Stopp, wir sollen mal abschalten.
One mic and one.
Is it?
It's not us.
Cool.
Because they're both on at the same time.
So nice for joining. So next up is Dapplets, and they're a research and infrastructure project enabling new business models and for mass adoption of apps. And I think we have to start right now because we're a little bit behind.
Okay, can we start?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have started Dapplets proposal because we have figured out two things. The first one, what you see is what you sign experience for somebody who signs transaction is broken. It means somebody who signs, he doesn't see what he signs. And the second problem is that the legacy sites which do not implement Web3, they are unreachable for Ethereum workflows. So we try to solve both of the problem, and what we promise for community and for Gnosis, I have published a document with 2 use cases for Gnosis using Dapplets proposal. It's essentially we spread prediction markets or embed prediction markets exact into the legacy sites where the users start to think about it. For example, user can start prediction market on Twitter, or user can start prediction market exact on the chart of some exchange. And there's no any media break there. It's just seamlessly. So there is a document about it that I have shared before. So we can, what we have done currently, we have implemented proof of concept on Ethereum as Paris hackathon. And we have started to implement the first release, and yeah, we can show you what we have done till now, and just to show how it will work. So, Alexander will help. He shared his screen, and I tried to show you. Sorry, no. I will show you what he will do. Is it? Can you see it? I don't know. Probably
not yet.
No, that should be another user, my mobile. Ah, okay.
Oh, no.
Yes. No. Okay. You can see shared desktop, but unfortunately you can't see any camera. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll show in your in the cam. Okay. You can see here a Twitter. Yeah, Gnosis Twitter. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So we have some, what we have. You can see in a plugin as extension, home browser extension, and the 2 lines, Hello World and Wallet Connect, are essentially injectors for the Dapplets. We can switch and switch on and switch off all the injectors, and one of them, the second is switch it on, is essentially it's essentially the MetaMask icon. It's injected into the site. So, and if we can click on it, we can connect this plugin to the Wallet Connect. We have hacked the Wallet Connect wallet, example wallet. You see it, Alexander shows you in my cam. And yeah, okay.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so they are connected as usual, Wallet Connect application, but then, we can approve this. You should take it only one connection, only once. So it's approved, and now the browser is connected. I mean, essentially, the plugin infrastructure, the extension is connected to the wallet. And now, if you have here a transaction, we have sent a transaction from embedded action into the wallet. And this is essentially the Dapplet. If you see the Dapplet here, you see essentially the Gnosis. We have recovered the data from the tweet, and now we combine this data, we hash it together, and send it to blockchain, essentially. It can be another action. It can be here a prediction market. join prediction market to buy or vote on something. It can be a little bit more complex action than here. It's an example. But let's imagine you start a prediction market by click exact on the Twitter, or you join existing prediction market exact there where you have decided to join. If you see a news and you think this news is fake, you can exact in this place join this prediction market about it. So, okay, so then we approve this transaction. Yeah, we have notification the transaction is go through, and it's in chain in Rinkeby. Still in Rinkeby, sorry. So, why it's a good thing? There is no media break. You don't need to collect peoples to your side. You catch all the users who can join prediction market exactly there where they are. So they can, they can just join prediction market or fund prediction market exactly there where they decide to do it. And this is the point of the proposal and why we think it's useful. And another thing, it's just much more secure because the user see what he signs. It's not some cryptical hashes anymore. And behind it, there are infrastructure that pass metadata from injector to Dapplet for overlay. We have no overlay, but we'll build overlays in order to, for example, in order to select particular prediction market and join it and so on, preparations. So, yeah, that's what about it. Why we need your support? We have some challenges. It's not only technical to implement. We have started with Ralph to research the security aspects of renderer and layout managers. And we have figured out that they are just not aware about security. They can cut widgets silently. It means it's possible to cut the numbers, to overlay numbers, and user becomes no notifications about it, just because the current layout manager are not aware about it. So we should, the first research that we should do here is to list all possible visual attacks. It can be font, set transparent font, set too small font, to move particular elements outside. This is all visual attacks that can mislead user. And then we should create a secure DSL, domain-specific language, to define interfaces that are secure against that attacks, and define layout manager and renderers that notify user that something is wrong, that they notify users that particular elements are not in the viewport, for example.
We have to stop here. The 10 minutes are over. So as we're a little bit behind, we have like 1 or 2 short questions.
Okay.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions?
I think right now you very much depend on this Chrome extension, right? Or this I guess it's a Chrome extension right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now there are lots of like crypto, like MetaMask has a Chrome extension, Safe has a Chrome extension. I think ultimately Chrome extensions have the problem that you obviously bound the user to the specific extension, this specific browser. Do you have any plans to move away from the extension? Do you see any other alternatives?
Okay, although it's really the first step to do it. For mobile, we have an idea to use intents to reach simple experience. I'm not sure it will work, but we can check it. Yes, currently Chrome is the first step.
Okay. No, cool. Thank you.
Can I?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Richard.
So how would you validate the metadata? So right now, as far as I understood, right, it's the website presenting the metadata, but how do you prevent that? I don't know, let's assume that I do my own ad and say, oh, display that I'm signing this tweet, but I'm not really signing this tweet because I can present the metadata, right? Like how do you validate that this metadata is really valid?
Okay, I think you are asking about paths, chain of trust there, and we think there are different paths of trust. Some can be rooted in the contract. Some can be rooted in auditor community. They just audited, signed Dapplets, and it's where the trust is rooted. I hope I answered the question. So the Dapplets are quite small program codes, and they can be audited, and you see which kind of metadata they are collecting. So it's one of the possibilities. There's another status route the trust in the contract, and just check the Dapplet presentation layer hash against the contract. Away.
All right.
Thank you so much. We have the next team already in line. So thanks for joining in your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Okay, thanks.
So I guess the Linkdrop team already joined, right?
Yep. Linkdrop is here.
Okay. So Linkdrop is an open protocol for including digital assets and onboarding properties into links and QR codes. And now it's your time to pitch your project.
Yes, thank you. I'll just be sharing my screen. So yeah, as you said, we are building Linkdrop, open protocol for including digital assets inside links. And the whole secret sauce is that you don't need to specify the receiving address in advance. So it's basically a clickable or claimable link by everyone, also users who don't yet have an Ethereum account. I will just be opening this here. There we go. So what we're trying to tackle is basically the onboarding problem today with crypto, which I think all of us can agree is not really working very well, especially for non-crypto users who don't really have this intrinsic motivation for learning about hex strings and private keys. So we're really trying to tackling this problem and see how our solution can work together with the Gnosis Safe, which we think is also very pioneering this space. So like this is kind of my view on the perfect onboarding user journey. You kind of get an invitation just by clicking a link additionally. Optionally, you can maybe have like a kind of a web browser in between, which would not be very secure, but maybe something like the burner wallet to check it out. But that's maybe optional. It could also go directly into the basically clicking and getting into Gnosis Safe. And I see the pillars that you have been tackling with Gnosis Safe, basically the Meta transaction, allowing you to pay transaction fees with other tokens, as well as your multisig is really like the last remaining parts, basically getting started, and then being able to actually spend your funds, and then being able to securely back it up, but only when you really think it makes sense, and if you're dealing with amounts that actually makes sense to back up. So what we do with Linkdrop is, as already stated, we enable to invite people before they have an Ethereum address. So basically, we enable to generate a link, and in that link there can be or non-fungible tokens. So this is how it looks like from the receiver. Of course, there's a few more steps that in this case, this is from Crypto Xmas. We did 2018, a charity aspect, and the receiver can kind of have this original PayPal experience where they will kind of have, they will have something that they will claim, like in the original days with PayPal, where you get an email and it says, Gnosis send you some money, sign in to claim them. So we have just done these mock-ups here initially. This could, for example, be when you click a link and you want to claim some Gnosis tokens. And this could be sort of, let's say, a burner wallet, but instead of being on the X chain, it could be on mainnet, and it could also work with message transactions. So it would be interoperable with the Gnosis Safe. And here you have claimed it, and it would kind of prompt you to now it's maybe time to secure your wallet. Maybe you already tried to spend it before, but it's kind of, you know, to make the entry into Web3 as smooth as possible, and only kind of force the security from Gnosis Safe when it's needed. So, Mikael, I guess you're here as well, right? Are you ready for a small demo, Mikael?
So far, it's just you on the call.
I see. So then maybe we'll skip that part, and I'll just be sharing my screen here again. So actually, we had planned that Mikael would show you guys a demo of how the prior solution we did called ETH2 worked. This was basically the first implementation we did, where you kind of have the flow of just sending ETH. I think I cannot really show it now within this, the time scope, because we didn't really prepare for Mikael not being here. Mikael is the CTO. So I will just then go into the presentation mode here again. And at least here we have Mikael. He's the developer lead and technical lead. And we kind of have a team of 6, where Chris is not full-time, but the rest of us are. Our mainnet numbers right now with all the apps we have built on Linkdrop is roughly 2,500 on-chain transactions. And we already are supported in kind of the most normal Ethereum wallet. What we think is very interesting with working with Gnosis Safe is we want to support the message transaction standard the Gnosis Safe have. And this is basically what we propose to deliver. Of course, it's just a proposition. Maybe you think there are other components that make more sense, but we could do an extension to the contracts, the Gnosis Safe contracts, and we could do a relay implementation, as well as SDK for Gnosis or other developers to also tap into it, and also like a custom front-end claiming web app. So that's basically it. We prepared a bit of like appendixes also on like how it actually works, the scheme, which we also added to our submission on GitHub. So I'll just stop sharing now, and then I'll ask what the other guys are doing on Telegram. Very sorry they're not present. All right, so you guys have any questions for the Linkdrop team?
Oh, great, thank you. I think the idea makes a lot of sense. We already have, like as you mentioned before, basically Burner Wallet kind of offers such an experience already. I can send someone a link that allows someone to claim already tokens in a newly created Burner Wallet in your browser. And I think it's a great user experience. Building the same for the Ethereum mainnet makes sense. I think regarding Gnosis Safe, there are of course some more like technical difficulties, I would say, how you could make the onboarding process very smooth. But yeah, I think generally it's a good idea.
Okay, thanks.
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like, is this the next team or no? Are you from the same?
I think maybe just joined, so you would have a few more minutes if you want to do the demo.
So, Mikael, we lost you before, but are you ready to do the ETH2 demo?
Yeah, we can do ETH2 demo on desktop. So I can share my screen. I will try to find.
Just in the left corner, there is this green
button.
Okay. So do you see my screen now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a basic interface where we can define an amount we want to share if we are linked. For example, this amount of Ether, and then we can deposit it in a smart contract. But for Gnosis Safe, like proposed solution, we don't need to do it. We need to do it only with regular external accounts. So it will be much better with Gnosis safe meta transactions set up. But now, yeah, you have to wait. And yeah, I got the link, and I can share it, for example, using Telegram. I will share it to myself, and I will open it, and yeah, we have a problems with connecting mobile phone to a desktop. So I will just pick up this Ether to using MetaMask to a freshly created account. It has 0 ETH right now, but I can click on confirm button, and Ether is on the way. We can go to Etherscan and verify.
Just a question. So, but you still, I mean, you have to claim it. You have to have MetaMask, right? Or I thought the idea was that you can get it without having to have MetaMask, or how is that?
Yeah, it's. I think we had technical problems with connecting to this session, but proposals. Gus, can you explain?
The basic idea, Martin, is that if you don't already have a wallet, say MetaMask or Gnosis Safe, then it will ask you to choosing between the different providers. And then we use the deferred deep linking scheme from brands, so that you through the App Store will know that even though this is a freshly new created wallet, it knows that you already have pressed this link before. So you don't. There are some exceptions with a few wallets, but for most, they do support that you don't need to click the link again. So this is the basic the idea, and that's why like we think that like I installed Gnosis Safe today, and I love the wallet, but it still takes a few steps before I'm actually in there, and that's why we see for small amounts it's actually nice to have this web wallet, for example, experience where you just try it, and then if you have something of value, then at that time it tells you like now it's time to secure it up in a proper way. So that's the basic idea.
Should I switch off sharing mode?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And we would have time for one more question if there's one more.
Pretty straightforward.
It's, yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
We have 2 more minutes till the next one.
So much
Back on
time. What's next?
It's Tokenary, and they're aiming for a simple and seamless cross-device Ethereum wallet for crypto newcomers.
We might, do you guys, are you looking at the, because I think it's also always interesting to look at how much analytics is asking for.
Yeah,
and,
I actually put that on my sheet.
If we have 10 questions, then we might ask, like, or at least have a look at them, might something, say 12 months duration is the next team.
Yeah, the first team actually, they asked for 22
Yeah.
for 5.5 months.
Yeah. Current team is 12 months. And 16,
Okay.
15 months. Two proposals.
2 proposals, but they're gonna talk about one because one seems to be done already.
Okay.
And Tokenary, who's up next, they asked for 60,000, and it's gonna last around 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And Diadem is the one that didn't contact.
Diadem, they most likely won't join. I wrote them many emails, and in one, like, I already scheduled a call before because the proposal was not quite clear. And he said he's somewhere in Nepal doing some charity work. So I think we're gonna have a 15 minutes break then. No.
You're not muted right now.
There are 20 people.
Good. That's what I do.
There's a thing.
Oh yeah. They're very cool.
Very cool. Nothing happened.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't actually see that on the screen.
We're not muted.
Formerly frozen water.
Still frozen. Okay, it's just very cold.
I don't know, it was just frozen.
You know that we have a freezer here. Do we have a freezer?
I'm pretty sure it was just at the back of the fridge. We don't have a freezer.
Okay.
Can you check the links on the invite if it's leading to this one?
Yeah.
It should be because some people could join, but some said they can't access.
Sure thing. And the next one is Tokenary.
Yeah, here it is. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So this is Mikko.
Yeah, I mix it up. It's first token market, then Tokenary.
Okay. Hi, Mikko. How are you?
How are you guys? Long time no see.
Very good. Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
All good here.
So,
greetings from London.
So if you want, you can start presenting your proposal and the project.
Oh, you're muted, Mikko.
You're muted. Sorry, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Nice.
Hey.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, can you tell me where is the screen sharing button?
There's a green thing in the corner of the screen.
It's a green rectangle with a white arrow. And it's on the left hand side.
I'm presenting and hide participants mute turn camera off. Oh, okay. I don't see it. Oh, there we go. Now I see it. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah. So to start with, I wrote the tour proposal, but we can forget the first one and just focus on this one. Is how to make users who are who don't have any blockchain experience to install a Gnosis safe wallet and use it with services. So this starts from the idea that there's a service that the user wants to use, and to use that service they need to have a Ethereum wallet. And I have a background doing similar stuff for other mobile applications in past. One is Spotify. So I think this model works quite well. And the starting point is that the user is signed up with the service, and they come to the states where they actually need to have a wallet to use it or to go forward. And to start everything, we ask the phone number of the user.
And Mikko, is it possible you're sharing the wrong screen?
Is it? It is. What are you seeing?
We see a blank email screen.
Okay, that's the incorrect screen. Let me try again.
Well, better a blank email screen.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see something now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So everything I just told you still holds up. So we will ask for the phone number of the user, and we send an SMS message to the this phone number, and with that phone number, with that message, there is a link, and depending if the person is using an Android or iOS phone, it goes to a different app store, where the user then has the button either to install or open the application. And all of these links are seeded so that we know which service and which user it was. So basically, how I vision it in my head, that any service provider can sign up for this service, and Gnosis can provide it for them because it will increase the adoption of the wallet. And when the user downloads the application and opens it the first time, there's a checkbox saying that, okay, you received the notification to install Gnosis Safe from this company. Would you also like the company to pay for the Ether fee? Because there's a small fee that you need to pay for the smart contract deployment, as far as I know. And I know that the companies are very happy to pay it because it's such a hassle to set up the wallet in the first place. And there, I did some spying on your GitHub, and I see that you are working with the Wallet Connect. I checked some of your user interface mockups from your UX designer. And what would happen that if we go to through this wallet installation flow this way, it would use Wallet Connect protocol, and right away when your wallet has been set up, you have your seed phrase. It'll connect back to the service and tells that, hey, now this user has finally a wallet set up and he can start to use it. Which would lead to point that, okay, they have installed the app. The service knows what's their address. The service has done the Wallet Connect protocol with the app, and it shows that it's online. And in this point, we can actually start to interact with users, like for example, send him or her some tokens. And as a bonus, because most of the services in Ethereum space, they need some special tokens to use them. We would also be able to use the Wallet Connect protocol to push the set of the tokens to the safe wallet that the user needs to have in order to use the service, so that when they go to a token list, they see that, okay, here if I'm dealing with this in token market exchange, I'm probably going to need to see a US dollar pair. I need to see the Stasis euro pair, and maybe some pairs of security tokens. And that's the short walkthrough, and I think I'm open for the questions now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do you have any plans on how this process of payment would work from the service? Like, let's assume the company says they would pay for the safe. How would that, would that be in a centralized manner, or would you try to tackle this in some decentralized manner?
Of course, I would try to do it in decentralized manner. I have not looked how the smart contract deployment works at the moment, but I would say that each service provider has their own Ethereum address they can use to load Ethers for the deployment service, so that the Ethers would be taken from that account, or they would be held on a ledger on smart contract on that account and taken from there each time a new wallet is deployed. And it would be signed somehow with the service provider key, so that nobody else would be able to use those monies.
Would you try to prevent, like right now, what is the incentive of the of the company to pay for the safe. Like for me, okay, they create a safe. Actually the biggest incentive would be at Gnosis to pay for the safe, I would say. But what is the incentive for the company to actually say they want to pay for the safe? Because you said every company would be willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
But
So I would say the user acquisition cost is very high. Let's say that it's between 10 to 20 euros, and the paying for the safe is very small part of that. And the hurdle to get users to install wallets or learn to use them is much more difficult problem. So getting the user to have a safe wallet, not the safe brand, but any secure wallet in their hands, and have it to connect to the service, it's a support hurdle. And anything that we can do to make it easier for the users, it's not a cost, it's a win for the company.
So Mikko, you indicated that you are asking for 74K for 3 to 5 months. Can you break down how that's going to be used?
I did one breakdown on a GitHub. I don't remember it out from my head, but I think I did somehow that I budgeted like 1 or 2 guys to work on this one for a couple of months, up to 6 months. But I think I can also provide you a more careful cost estimation after I see what are your current plans with the wallet connect and so on, because Gnosis Safe is a little bit moving target, and I was estimating the cost to the upper limit, but now I see that you have done a lot of work with the wallet connect yourself, so the amount of work needed to do this is probably going down.
Okay. So far, it's estimated for 1 person working 1 month and 3 person working for another month, and then again 3 person working for another month.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mikko.
Thank you, Mikko.
Okay, see you guys.
See you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Is Igor the next person?
I think that the Tokenary project should be already in line. Is that right?
Is it Igor?
This person's been on the call for a while.
Yeah, I think he joined too early. It's Tokenary, and it could be Igor, yes.
Okay.
But he's muted and has the camera off. Yes, 2 more minutes.
Okay.
What was next one again?
And it's Tokenary, and they are aiming for a simple and seamless cross-device if you want it for crypto newcomers.
Do you know what the ratio is of kind of safe integrations versus Dutch?
We had 7 safe integrations and 3 for the Dutch X and 3 for prediction market.
Okay.
So I think it's
and 1 for governance.
And 1 for governance. If you can hear us, you can start with your presentation. You're all still muted.
So Igor had his camera on a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Cross-device wallet, right? That's cross-device theory.
Can I unmute them more?
No.
You can only unmute them if you muted them.
Yeah.
But I don't think you did.
Guys, in case you can hear us, we cannot hear you. You are muted.
Okay, now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Okay. So thanks for joining. The floor is all yours, and you can start with your presentation if you want.
Hey, so my name is Igor, and I'm working on the first Safari extension for Ethereum and macOS application in Tokenary. Hey, I'm Vadim, and I'm working on iOS, our iOS application, Tokenary. So, oh, here is me. Hi, Ivan. Introduce yourself, please. We just did it with Igor.
Oh, I'm building an iOS app, Tokenary. Did you guys already tell what we are doing?
Not yet. Okay. So just we are going to start with our presentation of Tokenary.
Vadim.
So, yeah.
Did you guys already tell what we are building?
No.
So whoever wants to go can start with telling us what we want to do.
So basically, we are building a wallet, Tokenary wallet. We are building it for iOS currently and macOS. We've already integrated Wallet Connect and a lot of new cool features. So I think we are going to just show you. Yeah, here is Ivan, and we are going to show you how does it works. Our Tokenary. Yeah.
So, do you guys see what's going on?
I think you also can share the screen through the Hangouts. There's this little green rectangle, and you just simply can share it. Yes.
Okay, so we have an iOS app with a Dapplets browser, and it supports several accounts. Like, you can add several accounts here. You can just add account as a watch address, and also we have macOS app. Here we can add any Ethereum account or any contract-based wallet. Like here, I've added, I guess, Aragon Gnosis multi-sig wallet. And also we have a Safari extension. Actually, it's the only Safari extension to interact with Ethereum. Like we can use the apps in Safari in this simple interface. So our idea for Gnosis is integrating Gnosis accounts in our app. Actually, the idea is integrating Gnosis multi-sig accounts to allow people use shared accounts in a convenient interface. Igor, maybe you have something to add. Also, we just this week we have implemented Wallets Connect 1.0 version. It's a major update of Wallets Connect, and this week we'll release it to the App Store. We have this scan QR code tab.
I actually have your app and it works quite nice. I'm using it, but I don't really understand what the integration is exactly looking like. So I mean, I already now can, of course, copy my Gnosis safe or my multisig address to Tokenary and see all the tokens in there and get notifications if something moves. But what else do you mean with integration?
Our idea is not only watch Gnosis addresses, but actually to be able to use them. For example, like I and Vadim, we have a shared multisig account, and we want to be able to use it in a Tokenary app. So we just go and add another account to the list, and this account would be a shared account. And when I want to send a transaction, I interact with the smart contract, and Vadim receives a push notification that there is ongoing transaction, and he needs either to confirm it or to reject it.
Yeah, on my device.
So
and we want to make this process of submitting and confirming transactions as fast and convenient as possible with the best user experience on iOS platform.
Yeah, just to make users use Gnosis with a nice native interface and with pleasant UX.
And in order for Gnosis not to be locked only like in Gnosis safe app, to make it transferable between different wallets, and so, like for example, to allow using it in Safari or in macOS app.
Yeah,
this is our idea.
Yeah. Makes sense. One technical question: are you implementing it using React Native, or are you using what are you using for implementation?
We use
native.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Swift.
React Native or native? Like use React Native or Swift?
Swift.
We use Swift.
Okay, sorry. So sound quality is sometimes a little tricky.
Yeah. How big is the team now? Is it just the 4 of you, or?
It's 3, right?
Or 3?
It's a bit
more. There are like 6 people.
Yeah, 6 people. Okay.
Yeah, but there's only 3 people in the call.
Oh, right. Actually, we've updated our submission. We left only 4 people there.
Yeah.
Because we had a web developer. We were playing with a web version, but then we understand that we don't need web version right now.
And how many developers do you have?
So no, we are a team of 4 people right now. It's me, Vadim, Igor, and Oля, who is an Android developer. And also there is Vadim Kalyoshkin. He's a co-founder of Zerion, and he is not on our team, but he helps us with backend. We use Zerion's API to get transaction list and tokens list.
And can you maybe say how much users you already have and what the adoption is of your app?
We don't have a lot of users. I guess it's several thousands of installs. But we're trying to grow using our Safari extension. We are reaching out to the app developers and we ask them to suggest Tokenary for Safari users. Because it's kind of illogical to suggest MetaMask for Safari users. And now there is extension precisely for Safari, and the app developers can get the Safari users to use Tokenary.
And I'm just wondering, while you were talking, I downloaded the app on iOS, and maybe I did something, maybe I had it already installed, but it's synchronized directly with my app from my laptop. I'm not sure how that's possible.
We don't synchronize private keys because it would be not safe. We sync only public addresses.
But how do you even connect those two? Just with my Apple ID? Or
we use iCloud.
Keychain of
iCloud keychain.
And then I wasn't aware that you you can have access without giving access. Cool, interesting. Yeah, no.
It's keychain, synchronization of keychain. Yeah, of your Apple ID.
Cool.
We would have a few more minutes for questions if there are any more.
But I can try this.
So you have also an NFT integration, so you can display all the CryptoKitties.
Yeah. All the collectibles.
What are the most interesting NFTs for you?
Excuse me, could you repeat your question? I didn't hear well.
Did you hear my question? Like, what are the most interesting NFTs for you besides CryptoKitties?
Well, I don't know. I personally didn't play a lot with these games, but we've built, maybe you've seen it, we've built a feature to swap collectible tokens with friends, with nearby friends. So if there will be a device nearby with Tokenary installed, and my friends who would want to swap a token, I would see his kitty or another token, and we'll be able to make a swap using 0x contract.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. I think there are not yet really collectible tokens. Like there is more than 1 million kitties, and I think you can't collect things that there are too many out there. So tokens should be more unique, I think.
How much? So far you have only dealt with normal Ethereum accounts, right? And not with multi-sig, or have you? Have you already? I mean, it's not right now. It's not possible to use a multi-sig, right?
Yes.
Right now, it's not possible to use multi-sig. Yeah.
So I think there are just wondering how much you already looked into, for example, the safe, because there are there are a few additional components. So for example, we have this relay service. So the owners of the multi-sig, they just sign a meta transaction, and then we have this relay service that actually broadcasts the transaction. Have you looked into those things, or would you?
Yeah, I've researched these things, and we have this initial vision where we want to enable shared accounts. We want to focus on shared accounts that not safe account for one person, but a shared account for several people. So I think we'll use multi-sig contracts or maybe safe contracts. We have to look at it more when it's implemented.
So you would do like just different immediate confirmation transactions directly instead of meta transactions.
Yeah, we will implement like a Swift interface for Gnosis contracts. like we did for 0x when we implemented this built-in swap. And also back in time in more than a year ago when CryptoKitties just launched, we actually built them natively into our app and interacted with their contract. But then we got kicked out of the App Store because they said you can't buy items in the app without using in-app purchase.
Wow, yeah.
But anyway, we were the first one who just did it natively, so there are things to be proud of.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Is what part, or is any part of your work open source, or it's all closed source, or how do you deal with that?
We want to actually we are preparing to get everything open source, and we'll start with the Tokenary core. It's a code which is shared between iOS and macOS apps. And I think we have a Web3 Swift library open sourced, and we are building 0x Swift on top of that right now.
Web3 Swift library is a library to natively interact with the Ethereum blockchain. Just
we've built it with Zerion.
Yeah.
Then maybe one last question from my side. So for the I mean, I guess you need like notifications if someone receives the token, and you need to listen to the blockchain for events. Are you using something you built yourself, or are you using like the graph or some of those events?
We actually have pretty fast notifications. At least our users told us. We've built them in cooperation with Zerion. And they have a great infrastructure for listening to blockchain events, and for shared accounts, we'll do exactly the same thing. Like we'll listen to specific events and send push notifications. Oh, I guess this is it. Guys?
Hello?
По-моему, нас кикнули уже оттуда. Ну, типа, много времени прошло.
Ну,
странно,
потому что... Нет?
Всем привет.
Тихо, тихо, давайте...
Ну, все тогда, давайте включаться. Пока.
Подождите, не отключайтесь.
А кто это?
Меня зовут... Я следующий участник, и я тоже не вижу команду Gnosis. Похоже, проблемы на их стороне. Возможно, у них с палаткой, вам лучше подождать, когда они вернутся.
Досадно.
Да, кстати, хорошая идея.
Мы сейчас на YouTube транслируемся.
Что?
На YouTube мы сейчас транслируемся. Вот наш сейчас экран транслируется.
Да. Я слушал вашу презентацию. Могу сказать, что хорошая идея.
Так, давайте подождем их. И, может...
Спасибо. А у вас какой проект?
У нас проект Diadem Network. Решение для благотворительности. Смотря на презентацию, я увидел у вас очень хорошие возможности хранить коллекционные токены в мобильном кошельке, да?
Да, у нас мы OpenSea интегрировали, у них хорошая API-шка, вот у нас все здорово так. С 3D Touch.
И еще вы говорили решение с использованием кейчейна. Не совсем понял, что это.
С кейчейном у нас, то есть можно добавить аккаунт, например, на айфоне, и потом установить приложение на macOS, и там будет этот аккаунт уже добавлен. То есть он там будет добавлен без приватника, он будет там добавлен только как адрес, но ты этот же аккаунт можешь увидеть на Маке. Вот это мы через кейчейн как раз синхронизируем.
Класс. Вы имеете в виду решение от кейчейна?
Ну да, просто стандартный API.
Стандартный API. Вы не говорите об отдельном приложении кейчейна?
Нет, не отдельное приложение. Здесь же. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey.
We just discussed some things.
Everybody talked.
Sorry, we had some technical issues, but we are back again. But I think we were also pretty much done with you so far. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you. Bye.
So we're back. I think the Groundhog team is already there.
Hi, yes, it's Andrew from Groundhog. Scott's just joining in now. His computer won't let him join the call, so just give him
Okay, so if you want, you can start with your presentation and let you know what your project is about.
Sure. Yeah, he's coming in on the phone now, but we're Groundhog. We're building a suite of tools to power the crypto subscription economy. So our technology is based on an EIP we were part of the working group on last year, EIP 1337. And the goal is to connect that EIP to connect that technology into an overall generalized tool that enables merchants, any business to easily adopt and accept cryptocurrencies in a subscription business, and so in a recurring payments fashion. And at the core of our technology, we actually use the Gnosis platform itself. There's my CEO, Scott Burke. And he'll jump in and take it from here. Scott, I was just giving them the quick introduction on who we are.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Scott.
Okay, so I'm having a little bit of an issue. I wasn't able to join the call with my computer, so I'm going to present from my phone, and I'm going to point it at the screen. So hopefully that'll be okay with everybody. So let me see if I can just turn my camera around here. I guess I'm going to have to point it. Okay, so I'm Scott. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Groundhog, and you've just met Andrew, my CTO and co-founder. So we are, can you guys see the slide okay if I do that?
No, it's not very clear.
If you put it horizontal, maybe it's clearer, your phone?
Yeah. Awesome screen sharing.
Does that work?
I think you have to move a bit further from the screen, then we can see everything a little bit more.
Further.
I mean, or maybe you can share a link to the presentation. I don't know, or. I mean, it kind of works. But
I'll send Andrew the link. And then,
yeah, I'll screen share for everybody.
Second. Sorry about this.
Or maybe. Yes.
Perfect.
Cool. Can everyone see that great?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's try again. Thanks, everybody. So we are Groundhog, and we are building a suite of tools to power the crypto subscription economy. And we're very proud to be building on Gnosis technology. So next slide, please. Great. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that everybody on this call has a subscription to something. You know, Netflix, Spotify, G Suite, Tinder, DocuSign, you name it. We've got all kinds of subscriptions in our lives. Pretty much every company in the world is trying to move to a subscription model if they haven't already. Recurring revenue is the lifeblood of many, many businesses around the world, and the subscription economy is growing. Now, there's a bit of a problem with doing that in the crypto world, in that the wallets and the payment gateways that are out there today just don't really support friction-free subscription payments. So that's preventing the full promise of crypto and Ethereum e-commerce to be delivered. We've got, you know, crypto and blockchain companies all over the world crying out for a solution to enable subscription payments, because that's going to allow them to generate revenue and sustainable business models. So we encountered this pain point very acutely with the previous product that we built, where we took subscription payments via crypto. And what we had to do is we had to send out invoices to our customers every month. Hopefully they would get them. Hopefully they would come back and pay them. But it wasn't a good experience for anybody. You know, inconvenient for the customers, and led to artificially high churn and low forward revenue visibility for us, the merchant. So we knew there had to be a better way. So we set out to build it. So we pivoted our company completely, had the opportunity to build the MVP for Groundhog at ETH Denver in 2018. And we were lucky enough to win second place in our judging category, and had all kinds of great feedback. That was really the beginning of strongly validating this product. So Groundhog is bringing the subscription economy to crypto e-commerce. So it enables subscription payments for B2B and B2C businesses, SaaS, content, patronage, physical subscriptions like subscription boxes, and more. It consists of a merchant payment gateway that you can install on any website via API or plugin, iOS and web apps that allow customers to initiate, manage, and cancel subscriptions, and a merchant web portal that allows merchants to manage their accounts and transactions. And of course, the on-chain wallet that powers all of this on the actual Ethereum blockchain, which we're very proud to say is the Gnosis safe suite of contracts. So we're building on top of that to give our project kind of the best-in-class multi-signature smart contract wallet functionality. Next slide. So stablecoins are a huge part of our strategy. Luckily, I'm sure I don't have to explain stablecoins on this call. Usually I have to go over that in the presentation. But the benefits of stablecoins for e-commerce are obvious. They allow merchants to be able to predictably receive a value relative to their own fiat currency, and a customer knows what they pay every month. So, you know, the primary currencies that we're focusing on in our system right now are like ETH, DAI, and other emerging coins like wrapped Bitcoin. But it supports any ERC20. Next slide. So our business model is based on transaction fees. We take 0.5% of every transaction from merchant. Merchant pays that. So it's a pretty simple model. Next slide. So this is our team. I'm Scott. I'm a technical founder. I've been the CEO of a California-based online gaming company that I led to an acquisition. I've run an innovation lab for $1 billion per year state lottery. I've been, you know, coding since I was 10 or 12 years old, and I've built over a dozen products over the years, including a number on blockchain. My co-founder Andrew is a brilliant technologist, co-authored the EIP 1337 specification for recurring payments on Ethereum. Ran data architecture for a startup serving almost every major league sports franchise. was rolling out Bitcoin ATMs in the real world as far back as 2013 and is the most switched on person about the frontier of blockchain technology that I know. And then we've also got Rob Moore, a full stack engineer, and Yashiri, front-end engineer, and they're both blockchain engineers as well, and they're just superstars, very talented, been at multiple startups, and Yashar is a designer turned front-end developer, so it's great to have that set of skills in the mix as well. Next slide. So we are Techstars founders as well. We went through the Techstars program in early 2018, which was phenomenal, and we actually pivoted to Groundhog while we were in Techstars. Next slide. We are also, we went through the Consensus Ventures Tachyon Accelerator late last year in San Francisco, and that was also phenomenal. So we have a really interesting mix of Web 2 and Web 3 companies backing us. I think we're the only company in the world to be invested in by both Techstars and Consensus. Next slide. So that's pretty much a quick overview of the product and why we're building what we're building. We're really excited to be building on Gnosis, and we're excited to be kind of contributing to the Gnosis ecosystem. And we're also really excited for what Groundhog means, not just for us, but for the wider crypto ecosystem. We really believe that what we're doing is key to developing sustainable business models for dozens, hundreds, and thousands of projects around the world, and is really what we think is like the next big thing in crypto e-commerce and in terms of like the road to adoption. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity to present. We're asking for your help to help us develop the product over the next 6 months. We're very close to transaction number 1. We've built so much already, but there's more to do. We raised a 500K pre-seed round last year from a group of VCs and angels, and we're currently raising our next round right now, but we are definitely seeking some bridging financing to help us kind of take this thing in the last mile and showcase what it can do. So really appreciate the opportunity to do that, and I'll throw it over to Andrew to talk about the tech a little bit more.
Hey everybody, thanks Scott for that. So our technology leverages the Gnosis safe stack at its core. All the work we've done to date has been isolated around the module layer of the Gnosis safe technology. And so our stack probably looks relatively familiar to you in terms of the actual safe stack. Some of the stuff that we've done on the other side of it for the actual user-facing stuff is we've got a totally different web wallet. We have a user checkout flow that allows you to get acquire a new wallet and all of the modules pre-deployed as a part of the checkout flow. And so the user themselves visits some website that wants to accept recurring payments, and then through that widget, they're onboarded immediately to an actual on-chain wallet and are able to go through the funding process and the payment process within just a few minutes. And so we do everything using meta transactions, and everything is relayed through our actual on-chain relayer. Sorry, our relayer right now relayed to the chain, and our goal is to adapt the gas station network as a part of its backend to enable a more decentralized relayer. Happy to answer any questions, but it's a great overview of where we are right now.
So you have a separate iOS app from the Safe app, right? I know that there are some functionality missing in the Safe app that you would need, for example, like the module support. Did you think about how, because for the user it would be kind of inconvenient, right, to have two apps which both manage somehow the funds? Did you think about how these could interact with each other or live side by side, or how that would work?
Yeah, so one of the original things we were tackling around building our wallet is that, so we do have the module support, and all of our functionality does live inside the module. So we need to have some native experience of that module app. And so there were some options originally conceived, maybe like if there was a plugin framework that existed in the Safe iOS app that allowed for injection of modules, because ultimately, like, our business model is transaction fees, and so we want to get as many of our modules deployed anywhere, including pre-existing safes that aren't a part of our ecosystem. But yeah, if there was some way to build like an extension that would allow to have those actually like brought front and center. Some of the work we started doing early in around this was that the concept of like, we call them like smart widgets, so you can encapsulate the needs and functionality inside a component, and then that component could just be like shipped via NPM or somewhere else to another wallet that wanted to easily install or adopt. But yeah, we haven't focused on that directly as of yet.
Another question, what about Android? Just because I see that most of this stuff is related to iOS and web app, right? So. Yeah,
our wallet that we were working with is in React Native, and so iOS was our prime target, but the goal is to eventually also support Android through it as well.
Just out of curiosity, like who are the first, or like what kind of subscriptions will you offer first? Like, is there already some merchants lining up that want to use your service?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have about knocking on 50 merchants right now who want to use Groundhog today. We broadly categorize them into crypto native companies and traditional merchants. So we're like 80% crypto native companies, 20% traditional merchants. A crypto native company is, somebody building in blockchain, building on crypto. So an example of some of those merchants are like Ethereum infrastructure providers, cryptocurrency accounting firms that are building like cloud SaaS solutions, cryptocurrency signals providers, pay-to-play databases. And then on the more traditional side, we have a snack food company that wants to use Groundhog. They have great distribution in some of the biggest grocery chains in the US, and they have a monthly subscription delivery box. And they want to be the first company, the first snack food in their vertical to accept payments via Ethereum and cryptocurrency. So the crypto native companies are the ones where it's a hair on fire problem for them. And what we keep hearing over and over is, we didn't think this was possible until we met you guys. So that's really encouraging. And those people are screaming for Groundhog today. In terms of the traditional merchants, it's a more opportunistic thing, like those merchants that are interested in adding. So when we talk about traditional merchants, we talk about somebody that's probably already selling a product or a service, accepting payment via credit card or bank payment, and they're looking to add cryptocurrency to their mix of payments to tap into an additional customer base and kind of communicate something about their brand, like, we're ready to do business with you out where you are at the edge of decentralized finance.
Thanks. I think the time is already up, so the next team is also in line. So thanks for joining and your presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot.
So I think the MultiCard team is already in the call, and if you want, you can go ahead and present your project.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So,
Thomas here from Lab 10 as well.
So you hear Thomas as well? So basically 2 Thomases in the call.
A bit low. Maybe you can you say something, Thomas?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, much better now.
Okay,
nice.
So we are both from Lab 10 Collective from Graz, and we have applied for a MultiCard project. Our colleague Dietmar Hofer, he's on Easter holiday with his family. He did the application, but Thomas will present the team a little bit more in detail. We are 40 members in the collective, and we are completely working on blockchain integration, second layer sidechain like Power Network, and also cooperate with Power Network there. And on the other side, we are working on Minerva, which is a identity and Ethereum ecosystem wallet. but that can become later. So now a couple of words for the project, and Thomas will give there some introduction what we are proposing.
Okay, thank you, Thomas, for the introduction. So, what happened in the past is that here in Graz, we have a company called Infineon, which is a leading semiconductor company, and they developed a very, very cool thing. And it is an NFC card, which has some logic internally that is able to sign off elliptic curves. So, and this can be used to sign off Ethereum and Bitcoin transactions. So we could get very, very early hands on this hardware product. And we did a prototype on a hackathon and used this this NFC smart card to start some blockchain smart contract events. They're called streams. This is another topic we're focusing on. And with the NFC card, you basically sign off a transaction to start a money stream, so you can let the money flow. And for the Gnosis system, for the Gnosis safe, what we want to do is to give it an additional security layer to use this hardware device, which is very secure, to allow a multi-signature. So imagine you have 5 people who have access to the safe, and you say, yeah, if 3 of them are going to sign the transaction, they can spend the money in the safe. And we wanted to use the card as additional security layer.
Okay, a couple of words for the cards. So the card is basically a developer edition, and it generates internally private-public key pairs up to 256. You cannot access the private key, so you cannot extract a mnemonic or anything. So it's kind of sticks with the card. So you also can't lose it, so you don't have to take care about the private key. And the idea is basically taking the address from those internally generated keys and use them as a multisig for signing it off. And to give you a little bit better impression how this works, I've here beside of me the project what we had as a winning project during the hackathon, what Thomas was kind of mentioning. I think you see it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what you see here is basically a record player with some classical music on it, and you have here a NFC reader. So the NFC reader is connected to a Raspberry Pi on the back here, and I have this card here. On that card, on the first key of that card, we have moved some play tokens. What we moved from Ethereum via bridge to the Artist blockchain, which we started, and made it streamable. So basically, there is a flow rate within the smart contract that the play token actually stream from one address to the other. If I move that card onto the reader, it signs off a transaction, and when the transaction is sent, it starts the record player. So I hope you hear the music.
The future of jukeboxes.
So, because the reader, of course, he can't know when you take away the cards. The finishing transaction is already kind of sent to the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is checking if the card is on the reader. If I remove the card from the reader, the transaction is sent to the network, and the record player stops.
This is super cool.
So, yeah, obviously they liked it too. So basically, we won the prize for that kind of demonstration of combining something. Oops, I didn't want to start. The card was just too close to the reader. Sorry. So. Basically, that's the intention. What we want to kind of use as a way to make it simple for, let's say, a less experienced group of people to do a multi-sig without being in any need of handling private keys. So that's the main issue. What we're proposing here to you.
Yeah, super interesting. Concretely, how would that, how would the experience for a normal user be? They would need to buy such a card reader, I guess, or is it, do phones already are able to deal with the card, or?
Yeah, well, basically, what we also did is we modified a application so that we are able to read with the normal Android NFC phone, that you can read in the address and that you can move funds from and to the card. So in my understanding, it would be an additional software module part of Gnosis Safe that basically is able to communicate with the card. I mean, in the proposal what we made, we didn't go that far, but what I think would be the best possible option is that Gnosis Safe is using the NFC reader of the phone, and you register the card for basically several owners, and everybody has his own phone and controls one safe, and everybody is using his phone and his card to do a multi-sig completely for himself. So basically, and you can integrate this kind of way of signing off with the card with the phone. And what we wanted to implement is basically showing everything without the kind of more elaborate UI integration into Gnosis Safe, so that we have a simple UI where you see all the wrapping of the transaction, and of course the signing off of the transaction and all the reading with the NFC reader. But we also have basically the code which is needed for talking to the from the phone with the NFC. So that's in another application. What is open source as well.
Cool. One question regarding the card. Do you know the cost of buying such a security-to-go smart card?
Well, currently in the developer edition, it will be in the area of €5, but this is like you buy 10 cards and you pay €50. So it's very, very affordable. And in mass production, it will be even lower. In my understanding, it depends very much what you do with that kind of cards. I mean, you can do all kinds of things with that card.
Do you, by any chance, I think, I don't know details, but I think Status is also working on a similar card. Do you know anything about them, or like, is it similar, different?
It's a more sophisticated card. It has a Java programming possibility on top. This card is really raw communication, the most raw possible card you can get. And therefore the retail price for the Status card is something like $29. And I'm pretty sure even if you brand that card, if you sell that card, if you are doing all that kind of stuff, you can do it for 10 to 15 euros or something. That should be a sufficient high retail price in comparison to the other card. And that's basically, that's a sufficient way of doing things. So it doesn't need all this kind of overhead on the card, in my opinion.
Cool.
So how close do you have to be to the card in order to be able to read it?
It's like 5 to 10 centimeters. I mean, when the player started accidentally, it was lying beside of the reader. So you have to be rather close to it.
Okay. But it's not something that you would carry around with yourself. It's something that you would leave in a secure place, right?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I've been to the Hacker Congress in Prague, and they are distributing those cards, and they put it into a simple kind of card sleeve with some aluminum coating on the inside. And if you do that, you already have no chance to read it anymore. So,
okay.
So you can even carry it with you and have it in that kind of very simple sleeve, and wouldn't kind of be a problem to have the card with you. And one more thing, you can pin protect the card if you want. So there is a way to pin protect the card as well.
It's really similar to your credit card. If you carry around your credit card, it's the same as your credit card. Like most of the newer credit cards have this NFC where up to 25 euros. So if somebody walks by half a meter of you and stays there for a couple of seconds, they could probably also just withdraw 25 euros from your credit card. Yeah. So it's around the same thing. And there for the safe, actually, because we discussed that before too, like for the safe, it would be a second factor. So just having this card would mean nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, super interesting.
I think the time is also up, so really nice project. Thanks for presenting it.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.